everyone. My name is Brooke Lazard, and I'm one of the co-chairs for the Moderator Committee for the Tucson Festival of Books. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you for signing up to be a moderator at the Tucson Festival of Books. It's a really fun role and one of the most important roles at the festival, so we couldn't do this awesome event without you. So in this virtual training, we're going to cover a couple topics. First of all, I'm going to give an overview of the event. So if you haven't been to the Tucson Festival of Books before and want to know what to expect. Next, I'm going to talk about the role of moderators and how important they are to the festival. Next, I'll cover some pre-festival actions, so things you're going to want to have done before the day of the festival. Next, we're going to talk about the day of the festival, and we're going to finish with some tips from the expert David Botany, my co-chair of the Moderator Committee, and an experienced moderator at the festival. So the Tucson Festival of Books is a huge event that is held annually at the U of A campus in Tucson. It was started in 2009. There are over 100,000 visitors every year, and if you've ever been to the festival before, you know how busy it is. There are tons of people, vendors, and performances, and author panels. So this event is always free, and proceeds are donated to local literacy programs like Literacy Connects. And the festival is organized and operated by the vast majority of volunteers. So there's probably less than 5 to 10 paid staff at the festival, and then the rest are totally volunteers. So I'm a volunteer, and so is David Bodney, who you'll be hearing from later. And in fact, all of you are volunteers as well, so thank you. So, as I touched on earlier, moderators are one of the most important roles in the festival. You're there for a couple of reasons. So, you're there to really act as a surrogate for readers in the audience and to ask questions we all want to know the answers to. So, some people in the audience, this is their favorite author, and they just want to know everything they can know about them. So it's your job to kind of tap into that mindset and get the audience the information they want to know about the authors. But of course, you're there for the authors too. So the authors typically are at the festival to promote a book, to sell their books. So make sure you are helping them out with that. You want to ask questions that encourage and inspire the readers to go pick up these books right after the session. And you're there to make sure that conversation goes smoothly. So if you're on a panel with multiple authors, you want to make sure that everyone gets an equal chance to speak, and that no one author is dominating the conversation. And additionally, and super importantly, you're there to thank sponsors and inform the audience on book signing opportunities. So the festival has a handful of sponsors, and we're so grateful to them because without them, we couldn't do this event and we couldn't do it free. So it's super important to thank the sponsors and take the time to do that in the script. Additionally, in the script, there will be information on where the audience can get their book signed after the panel. So almost every panel has a book signing opportunity afterwards, and the audience is really going to want to know the information about that. So make sure you let them know, and all of that will be in the moderator script provided for you in the venue. And of course, remember, you're really important to the festival, but it is all about the authors. The audience is not there to see you. They are there to see the authors. So just keep that in mind above all, and keep it centered in how you perform your role as a moderator. So before the festival, moderator selection begins in late November and wraps up around January. So after receiving an email from the Moderator Committee, confirm your participation through the Tucson Festival of Books portal. This email should have been called something like moderator confirmation. And if you have any questions about that or need to see the email again, just let us know at moderators at Tucson Festival of Books. So you're going to want to wait for your book and author committee contact to get in touch with you. They will let you know about connecting with your authors, and they'll help you acquire your books for your panel. So don't reach out to the moderator committee for your books or to connect with your authors. We don't have that information. The book and author committee does, and they should be reaching out to you. Again, if you don't hear from a book and author committee contact, or if you're having trouble getting your books, just send us an email, moderators@tucsonfestivalofbooks.org. So after you have your books, you're going to want to read them. So if you're on a panel with just one author, this means you're going to just have to read one book. But you could be reading up to 3 books, so just make sure you keep in mind how many books you're going to have to read before the festival and give yourself time to do that, because you want to really be able to thoroughly read these books in a way that helps you craft insightful questions for the authors. And you are going to want to make sure you write some author introductions for your authors. Sometimes authors like to see these ahead of time, so just keep that in mind. And you can write these introductions based on bios that the author has provided to the festival or on their website, past interviews. So just make sure that you're prepared with that, ready to go, so that the audience is introduced to the authors and know who we're speaking with. All right, day of the festival. We're all so excited. First, before your panel, you're going to check in at author hospitality. You're going to breathe so that during your panel, you want to start by reading your introduction script provided by the Tucson Festival of Books. So you might be really nervous, but just make sure you're reading that introduction script because it has a lot of really important information about sponsors and about book signing. And please make sure that you are speaking into the microphone when you do this and when you're doing your panel as much as possible. Next, after reading your script, you are going to introduce the authors. So this is using introductions either the author has provided for you or that you have written for the author. When the panel gets underway, be mindful of how the conversation is going. Be aware of the flow, making sure that everyone gets an equal chance to speak, and keep an eye on time cues from the venue monitor. So they will be in the back of the room, providing you with time cards so that you're able to see when you have 5 minutes left of the panel, 10 minutes left of the panel, and just keep that in mind when you're going through your questions to make sure that you get to everything you want to cover. I would recommend, of course, writing more questions than you think you'll need. You never know how fast you're going to be going through those questions, so just be really prepared. And then you can do a Q&A with the audience for the last 15 minutes. This is optional, but like I said, the moderators are here to be a surrogate for the audience, and often the Q&A can be a lot of fun. When we're all wrapped up, when the venue monitor signals you, you are going to say thank you, read the closing script to everyone, let the audience know about book signings, and enjoy the rest of the festival, unless you have another panel. Now, finally, some tips from the experts. We'll hear from David Botany on his tips for being the best moderator you can be at the festival.
Hi, my name's David Bodney, and I'm here to offer you tips for moderating a successful panel. And I've tried to simplify them to 3 that will come rather naturally to you. The first is be prepared. The second is pay attention. And the third, be moderate. So what do we mean by these 3 prescriptions? I'll offer a few details. First, be prepared. That will involve doing some reading, writing, and researching before your panel. Before the festival, be sure to read your author's books and learn a few interesting facts about their lives for your introduction of the panelists. Before the festival, draft a good mix of questions for an entertaining panel. Before the festival, be sure to read the moderator's handbook. For a grasp of the details you'll need to know to get yourself situated. Before the panel, know where to go and make sure that your authors do too. It's so important to show up and show up on time. Get there early. That's be prepared. What about pay attention? Well, this is at the panel. Read your panel. Engage each panelist so no one author dominates the conversation. And then listen to their answers so that you can then be flexible. You can ask follow up questions based on certain answers the authors gave you that you just may not have expected. Read your room and pay attention to stirrings, rumblings, or any other unanticipated development so you can stay on top of the situation. That's part of your role as the moderator, too. So be prepared, pay attention, and last, be moderate. Remember, the audience is there to hear the authors, not you. Facilitate a lively exchange of the author's views, not theirs. Showcase the authors. You can say a few kind words about the sponsors, but it's not about us, the moderators. We are not talk show hosts. Showcase them. Moderate the discussion. It's a bit like a well-functioning thermostat. When things get a little cold or slow, turn it up a notch or two. And if the conversation gets just a little bit too heated, it's your role as the moderator to just then bring the temperature down when things get too hot. So be prepared, pay attention, be moderate, and have fun. Thank you.
Yay!